Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. What's your advice to Kell Brook for, I guess, landing one of those big fights? And
I think Kell Brook is the advice I'm giving is, look, take these hard fights, man. Take these big fights that you need to take. Look, man, you're upsetting all your fans and you're upsetting all the people. You need to get in there with some big names. And I think that he just ruined his own career by not facing. I mean, Kell Brook was offered the fight against Miguel Cotto. Is that true? Any truth in that?
I heard that was offered. HBO wanted it.
Oh, right. So, and who turned it down?
It's controversial. No one's claiming it.
Man, if that was me, I'd take a copy, man.
Oh yeah, you asked for the Cotto fight.
I asked for the Cotto fight, man. Well, yeah, I mean, look.
Speaking of Kell, his mandatory is actually Errol Spence Jr. So he's been kind of the king of fighting mandatories. Guys like Jojo Dan, Kevin Bezier. What do you think of that? Kell Brook versus Errol Spence Jr. Is that a good fight for him?
That's a good fight. I think that could be the first mandatory he doesn't take. If he's a Mr. Mandatory, he should take that fight.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, Kell Brook, Special K, he did an ESPN interview, and I want to pull some quotes. Link in the description. I have a link to it in case you want to read the full interview and write up. And he's still pushing this Amir Khan fight, and it sounds like he's very dodgy when it comes to Errol Spence. I've made several videos, and I will continue to do such. We're encroaching the deadline. Late February is the deadline where all of his medical extensions and everything runs out with the IBF, and he has to make some tough decisions as far as what he's going to do. He's still in pursuant to Amir Khan fight. Errol Spence Jr. is his mandatory. So things are getting a little bit hairy, if you will, pause. Because, like, you're pushing the Amir Khan fight. He keeps saying this notion that no one knows Errol Spence. He wants a big money fight, etc. Right? Don't we all? I want some of the cars in Canelo and Floyd Mayweather's collection. But guess what? It's not going to happen without hard work. So, I mean, of course he wants everyone. Nobody wants peanuts. Nobody wants to fight for nothing or for small paychecks, especially if you get a taste of a good paycheck. You're like, oh, I want that again. But the work does not stop. And this is what's frustrating about Kell Brook's whole decision-making process. Like, let's say I put up a video, right? And it's about, let's say I got a video with Ronda Rousey right now. You guys check on the channel. And it has over 130,000 views. That's a good video. You know what I mean? It's growing legs. It's going viral. But guess what? The work doesn't stop. I don't say like, oh wait, you know, I got this video. It's doing good. And then not make any other videos, right? You just keep doing what you're doing. Keep a cool pace. Keep informing the public. And it's your job. You know what I mean? This is my job. I don't work anywhere else. This is what I do. So the buck doesn't stop when you have a viral video, or if you had the Golovkin fight, then now all of a sudden everything is a $5 million payday or better. It doesn't work like that unless you beat Golovkin. If you beat him, then maybe, but you didn't. You came up short. Now, the other thing, and I'm going to try my best to explain this once again. Some people, you got to think outside of the box. Some people are saying, why on earth would Kell Brook move up 2 divisions to fight Golovkin, who's a feared middleweight, and he can't get certain people in the ring, right? If he was afraid of Errol Spence Jr. And it is very simple if you look at it from a psychological perspective. Kell Brook is telling you the answer. He keeps saying Errol Spence is not a big name. Errol Spence is not a big money fight. So reverse engineer that. How would it be if by chance, he says he's a good fighter. He said Errol Spence is a very good fighter, but A, he's not a big money fight, and B, nobody knows him. That's roughly paraphrasing what he's saying. So reverse engineer that. If you jump up 2 weight divisions, fight Golovkin in a division that you're foreign to, and he's the most feared, and then you do what you did in the fight, which is last a couple rounds, expose certain vulnerabilities, lift him off the ground like he talks about in this ESPN interview, then you could say, hey, I challenged the Dragon known as Golovkin at middleweight, and I held my own in spots. I came up short like his last 23 opponents, but hey, I did it. But again, he's saying Errol Spence is not a known commodity. No one knows him. So imagine losing to that person that Kell Brook keeps saying nobody knows. It's a different ball game. So if you do lose, and I'm not saying Kell Brook would 100% lose to Errol Spence, but he's telling you right there, if he's saying no one knows him, and he's not a big money fight. So imagine losing to that non-big money fight that nobody knows. Then you put him on the map, and then where does your career go from that? So to me, that's the real reason why it's, I'm looking for Amir Khan. Why else would you be wanting to fight? I understand it's been a long brewing saga with Amir Khan and Kell Brook, but why are you this adamant about fighting Khan when he just got knocked out brutally with his eyes open and he was like face up facing the ceiling, right, versus Canelo? But you're still adamant because clearly that's a big money fight, but it doesn't prove anything. So you know what I'm saying? These fighters, again, there's no substitute for hard work. You'll get more credit within the real boxing world for knocking out a guy like Errol Spence, who was on the tear, that was getting praised. Floyd Mayweather just said on national TV, and we know anytime Floyd Mayweather speaks and does these interviews, it's headlines. He just said on national TV on his card, Mayweather Promotions Showtime card, but do Jack James DeGale telecast, they had him in between rounds. Floyd Mayweather says, Garcia Thurman's cool, but the guy they should be fighting, he's Errol Spence Jr. Why is everybody ducking Errol Spence Jr.? Nobody wants to give Errol Spence Jr. a chance, right? And I mean, you can't keep saying that nobody knows him when you got the biggest name in boxing, Floyd Mayweather, even through retirement, who's telling everybody about him. So even if you didn't, hypothetically, no one knew who Errol Spence Jr. is, maybe since the headlines are printing up what Floyd's saying, people are doing videos about it. Like, everyone's ducking Errol Spence. I posted on it on Instagram, right? And people are talking about it. So maybe people research it. But we all know that's not the case because, again, who knew JoJo Dan, Frankie Gavin, Kevin Bezier, especially in America, right? So it is what it is. Let me read some pull quotes. And this is from Kell Brook. I'm a big name in the world of boxing now. Everyone knows who I am. I've been in with Golovkin, and I did what no other middleweights have done to him, and I've never lost at welterweight. So if we could make the Pacquiao fight, and I had to make 147, that's a fight I would get up for every day. That's an exciting fight for me. It's the kind of fight I've been wanting for years. Now, we all know it looks like Pacquiao's fighting Jeff Horn. So why is that even a quotable, right? I want fellow Brit Amir Khan. I come to America, everyone's saying they want to see that fight, right? He goes on to say, I know I have a mandatory with Errol Spence. He's a very talented fighter, but not really heard of in the UK or even America. But we all know he can fight. It's hard to get up for guys like this because he doesn't have the name yet. I want the big money fights if I'm going to make 147 pounds. And again, for the full article and interview, check the link in the description. And I honestly don't like this talk because it's rubbish. You can't say nobody knows him, like I said, and Floyd Mayweather constantly bringing his name up. Channels like mine who have a good solid fan base, other people, other writers, they're talking about Errol Spence. 6 million people seen him on PBC knock out Leonard Bundu. He went and covered the Olympics. He was a U.S. Olympian. So, you know what I mean? That excuse right there is already played out. That doesn't even make sense. But the other thing is this. I used to live in England too. One thing about the UK fans, they're loyal, right? Anthony Joshua is doing sellout arenas versus Eric Molina, who got knocked out by Deontay Wilder, right? So you got to analyze what people say. Kell Brook said, once again, I'm going to tell you, Errol Spence, he's a very talented fighter, but not really heard of in the UK or even America. So we already disputed and debunked he's not heard of in America when you have Floyd Mayweather, the biggest name, talking about him just last week on Showtime, right? So we'll use the UK where Kell Brook is from. He's not really heard of in the UK. Again, look at another. Kell Brook said in this interview, he says, I'm a big name in the world of boxing now. Everyone knows who I am now, right? So one, you should, if that's the case, then you should have the star power no matter who you're in with, and people are going to want to watch it. Two, like I was saying earlier, Anthony Joshua, he's fought 3 American fighters in his last 5 fights or so that really don't even have a big name in America. Charles Martin. Literally, I had only seen the Glasgow fight of Charles Martin and some highlights of Charles Martin. And I'm in America. Sold out crowd to watch Anthony Joshua take his IBF belt, right? Anthony Joshua, he fought against Dominic Breazeale, who wasn't even a champion. He was a U.S. Olympian that lost, and Joshua's a gold medalist, right? Sold out crowd to see that fight. Eric Molina, a guy who lost and got knocked out by Deontay Wilder and Chris Arreola, and he beat Thomas Adamek in Poland, which was not televised in America. So he's not really a big name, and he had multiple stoppage losses. Anthony Joshua fights him, stack card, full electric crowd, right? So that whole UK excuse, no one knows him in the UK, is just that. It's an excuse, because if Anthony Joshua is a star and you're saying you're a big name also in the world of boxing, then how come Joshua is able to fight Eric Molina, the likes of Charles Martin, and the likes of guys like Dominic Breazeale, who don't even have big names in America, right? People know Cannon Briggs now. Let's go, champ. They know Deontay Wilder. Okay. But out of the other heavyweights, Charles Martin, the Dominic Breazeales, and also Eric Molina, they're not as popular, right? Their brands aren't quite up there. Yet Joshua can fight them in the UK and then sell out crowds. So you can't even use that UK stuff as an excuse. No one knows him in the UK, because it's very apparent to me that even though they probably don't know some of these guys that are fighting, like obviously people knew Golovkin because he's growing in popularity and stuff, but Joshua's fighting guys that I know a lot of people in the UK probably don't know. Dominic Breazeale, Charles Martin. I barely, like Floyd said, I barely even know who the fuck you are. You know what I'm saying? I barely even know some of these guys. You know what I mean? And I've only seen, and I cover boxing. So I know the general populace in the UK probably doesn't know Charles Martin. Name 4 Charles Martin fights. Not including Anthony Joshua. 4 fights he had before. Glasgow. Go. Name 3 more. Name 4 Dominic Breazeale fights before he fought Joshua. Okay then. You know what I mean? People will be like, Amir Mansour. They're not going to know his whole catalog. So that UK stuff, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I don't buy it at all. Bottom line, you got a taste of the money. You got a good fight. And you were in with the dangerous guy. I give you props for that. But that's a decision you and your team made. The buck doesn't stop. The world doesn't stop because you made that decision. You made that error in judgment, right? If I go out drinking and then I'm driving and I get arrested for DUI and I had a job or something at JCPenney's, the store is still going to open despite my DUI. I mean, I might get in trouble for not showing up to work or something, but the world still goes on. So you can't fight Sean Porter, then fight 3 unheard of people that are, 2 of them are allegedly or mandatories, then do a fight that no one even requested from you. No one said you must go up and fight Golovkin 2 divisions higher, and then you do it, have a decent showing, have a good showing, and then now you drop back down and you're saying, oh, I want to pick and choose. You're saying your team wants you to move up to 54. Okay, move up to 54. Charlo's there. You got Demetrius Andrade. You know what I'm saying? Those aren't going to be big money fights either. But there's some killers up there. Canelo's moving up to 160, so that's out the window unless you want to move back to 160, right? Actually, he's moving up to 164.5 to fight Chavez Jr. So, you know what I mean? Who's the big money fight? Slowly but surely, we're going to start seeing when these fighters use these reasons and rationale, it's going to start to unravel. Because, again, who's your big money fight at 154, right? Is Jermall Charlo significantly bigger of a name than Errol Spence Jr., right? Edislani Lada, like who are you gonna fight? Okay, go up to 54 and fight them. Those are good fights. You know what I mean? But you can't say My team wants me to go up to 54. I really want to fight the guy that just got knocked out in Amir Khan at 47. I'll make it for him. I'll make it for Pacquiao. But that Errol Spence, no. Nobody knows him. It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to peek your head in a division, then you're food. That's really what it is, right? You can't pick and choose who you want to fight. You're not Mayweather. Like, you're not at a Mayweather level in your career, to me, to the point where you would be able to, you would make a call and you know, like what they say in The Godfather, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. You're not in that type of position where I feel Kell Brook can just throw out an offer and then no matter what, it's the Kell Brook sweepstakes. The opponent is taking it. I don't think he's in that type of position. So I don't agree. And then, like I said, why you Amir Khan saying fight Errol Spence and then I'll fight you. And he's taking forever to negotiate, saying he wants a tune-up. So why are you still stressing that issue? Pacquiao looks like he's fighting Jeff Horn. Every article, every interview from Bob Arum, every Fox Sports interview with Pacquiao, it seems like they're getting the ball rolling for Jeff Horn. So it's the walls are closing in, and it doesn't look like those are viable options. Canelo has a dance partner. That's your other money fight. Floyd's retired. So, you know what I mean? You can't pick and choose. You're going to have to. And the other thing is this. Let's say you say, Amir Khan says, you know what? I'm going to fight him. I don't need no tune-up. I'll fight him straight away. You lose your belt because you didn't defend against your mandatory. So now the fight with Khan becomes a beltless fight. So it's two non-champions scrapping. And one's coming off, or both of them are coming off knockout wins. Versus if you fight Errol Spence Jr. and you beat him, then you're the man. You beat Errol Spence Jr., the guy that was looking like a whirlwind. And you keep your IBF belt and let Khan get like a solid win under his belt after being knocked out in a higher weight. Now that fight just grows. Do you see this? This is not making sense to me, right? And that's just the cold hard truth and the reality of the situation. If you do it my way, which is fight your mandatory like you've done in the past, then you retain your belt if you beat him. The only way you don't is if you lose to him. And that's what it sounds like is the reason for the hesitation is I don't want to lose or potentially lose to a guy who is not known, that nobody knows, because then that's a platform for his star power to grow. Versus if you lose to Pacquiao, you probably got like 4 to 6 million or something, right? If you fight Amir Khan, you've already sparred him. He's coming off a bad knockout, so you probably feel in your heart of all hearts having that experience with him and seeing how he's been knocked out 3 times and has other losses like Lamont Peterson. You probably feel like he can't take my punch, so you want to kind of pick the easiest prey. I mean, lions do this and wild animals. Like there'll be a pack of gazelles and the other gazelles in the pack, they see the lions coming like, oh shit, and then they'll head for the hills. And then the slowest one that's still eating, like, hey, what's going on? Oh, then he dies and gets hit by the lion. And that's what it sounds like he's trying to do. Like, ensure he's getting a massive paycheck, or you guys get what I'm saying, man. I just hope Kell Brook and team does what's right. You never had a problem facing your mandatories before. Why now? Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.